Good afternoon to you. How are you well? How are you well? Are you well even? I hope you're all right there. I hope you're in good form. Well, just myself, I'm just dropping in just for a minute to tell you a little bit about what's coming up on the radio show at 5. So I'll do that in a couple of minutes. Got a couple of really interesting guests lined up. In fact, it's a good week. I've got some interesting people across several different subjects this week coming up on the program. I'll tell you more about it in due course anyway. But I want to mention, I was on Twitter a little bit earlier on, and I got a tweet from Ian McKee, and he sent me a link to a Facebook group and a video that was being hosted by that Facebook group. Now, I personally left Facebook some time ago, ages ago, months ago, in fact. I don't have a personal Facebook page anymore. There is a page for the Richie Allen Show, but my mate Rog looks after that. I don't have anything to do with it, and I don't pay any attention to what goes on with it. But it's up there anyway. So I was able to see this video sent to me by Ian McKee, and it's a fairly disturbing video. I can't show it to you here, obviously. I can only tell you a little bit about it. So without rabbiting on, I made a couple of notes on it. It's a video that was posted to a Facebook group called Geoengineering, Weather Warfare, Chemtrails, 5G, Technocracy, IoT. And it's a video that was posted there by a woman called Suzanne Smallwood, who's based in London. Now, in the video, she says that on Monday, she went to see her doctor, her GP. And while at the doctor's, Suzanne says that she presented evidence about 5G to her doctor. She goes on to say in the video that she hadn't been feeling well. She'd had a headache. And she had contacted her doctor, went to see her doctor. But in the meantime, she alleges she spoke to Three. Now, Three is a telecom company here in the UK that provides mobile phone coverage for mobile phone users, right? It's a network. It's your provider for your mobile phone coverage. It's one of many, but it's Three. So she said that she'd noticed a mast that had gone up in her area. She contacted Three, she says, and Three, she alleges now, confirmed to her that the mast was to increase capacity, to increase coverage. So she felt a bit unwell. She went to her doctor on Monday, said she wasn't feeling great, headaches or whatever, and presented what she believes is evidence that 5G and this low ionizing or non-ionizing radiation, EMF pulse, could be harmful. But the doctor wasn't really interested in it, she said. She did say that the receptionist was interested, but said to her, what could she do? So it's fairly basic so far, right? A woman who's very much interested in allegations that the tech is unhealthy, felt that she felt unhealthy, contacted a mobile telephone communications provider, alleges that they told her that there was a mast put in very recently to increase capacity. She went to her doctor. Doctor wasn't interested. She went home. Now, she says that the following day, Tuesday, she says 2 people turned up to her house. She didn't answer the door to them. She spoke with them through her window. Now, because she's telling this story in a video she made herself, you don't have the opportunity to question her in terms of asking, did the people identify themselves? Who did they say they represented? Or what were they representing? But anyway, she didn't answer the door, spoke through the window and had a conversation with them. It seems that she's alleging that they were health workers. Now, incredibly, she alleges that later on, the police turned up with an ambulance and with psychiatric care workers or mental health workers. And she says they took her to a hospital on Farnham Road in Surrey. And she says she remains there. Now, she's in possession of her mobile phone, so she was able to make a video and upload the video to Facebook from her phone, which is fairly simple, as we all know. You've only got to have the Facebook app on a smartphone and you can do it. So it's quite extraordinary, really. You have a young woman, articulate, lucid, I would have said, educated, I would have said, calm, making a video from a mental health hospital, from a psychiatric hospital, claiming that she was taken there because she had gone around to her GP asking questions about 5G and whether 5G was healthy or unhealthy. In fact, she believes it's unhealthy. She's a member of a number of Facebook groups. It's quite staggering, really, if it's true. I'm not saying I don't think it's true, of course, but you have to be a journalist sometimes, right? But the video is there. If you go to Facebook, if you're on Facebook, which I'm not, there's a group called Geoengineering, Weather Warfare, Chemtrails, 5G, Technocracy, and then IoT. And the woman's name is Suzanne Smallwood. And Ian McKee said to me, Richie, you might want to look into this. So I, through my mate Raj, have tried to make contact with her to find out what's going on and to ask her to come and speak to me on the program in the, at the earliest opportunity, really. If it's true, it's shocking beyond belief. Are you a bit naive there, Richie? No. It's shocking that if it is true, that somebody could see their GP, say they're worried about mobile tech, masts, Wi-Fi, 5G, I'm not feeling great. She said she presented evidence to the doctor, and I'd be very interested in how she did that. What did she say to the doctor? What did she give the doctor? That presumably led to the doctor thinking that maybe she was unwell and needed to be visited, which is basically what Suzanne is alleging, because then she was visited the following day and she's basically been sectioned. Again, allegedly, this is what she alleges. So have a look at it if you can find it. Thanks again to Ian McKee, who follows the program and listens in and tweeted me a bit earlier on. So there you go. Big story today, which is getting coverage, is the Russian military plane that was shot down over Syria. Now, the BBC is reporting that even though the Syrian military seemingly inadvertently shot down a Russian military plane, the Russians are blaming Israel for it. 15 personnel died on board this plane. And the Russian Defense Ministry is saying that they believe that the Israeli jets deliberately put this plane, which is an IL-20, into the path of Syrian air defense systems on Monday. So it's a pretty bold claim by the Russians. They're saying, yeah, Syrian military, the Syrian air defense shot it down, but the Israelis knew what they were doing and the blame lies squarely with them. And that's something I will be getting into on the program later this afternoon, of course, Tuesday's program, which will be live at 5. There'll be a lot of people anti-Israel. There'll be a lot of anti-Zionists saying that Russia should fire on the Israelis. Let's hope that calmer heads prevail in these situations. I mean, I understand why people would prefer that the Russians or the Syrians would stand up to the Israelis if this is the case, because, by the way, they've just accused Israel. And, my record, of course, is I'm somebody who has no time for Israel. I have no time for Zionism. I have no time for the state of Israel. I have no problem with Jews, and I have no problem with Israelis. But with Israel itself, of course, I do. But I hope calmer heads prevail. I understand why people are fed up and they just wish that somebody would blow some of these Israeli planes out of the sky. Well, I can understand your anger, but I prefer they didn't. Nobody wants an escalation here. Well, at least sane people don't want one anyway. But again, I hear you. How much provocation will Russia, will Syria, will Iran put up with before they eventually say, well, sod this for a game of soldiers, no pun intended, we're going to strike back. Israel is a wretched, disgusting, racist, apartheid fucking state of murderers. That's the government now I'm talking about, not the Israeli people. That's all they are. When I think of Israel and the carry-on of Israel, it reminds me of years ago when when you were in school, and there was always a school bully, and he was always big and a bit fucking stupid, a big, stupid, physical, lumpy fool. But he was always egged on by a little small guy, wasn't he? A little short arse, egging on the bully, getting the bully to do his dirty work. That's what Israel is. It's a little short arse, a pathetic country that does what it does because it has the seemingly endless protection of the United States, of France, and of the UK, while the rest of the world condemns it. Hell-bent on pushing the world to the brink of fucking nuclear annihilation is Israel, is the Zionist state of Israel. Little playground bully, and gets away with what it does because of who it hides behind. The City of London, UK, the United States and France, of course. I'm not getting into that now. I've said it too many times. So there you go. So I suppose it's about time that I told you it was coming up on the program. Before I do that, by the way, hi to Kevin Hauser, hi to Stevie, hi to Rasputin's Ghost, hi to Kosher, who's in Boulder, Colorado. How you doing, mate? You're not too far from Jordan Maxwell then. Jordan is in Boulder these days. Hi to Chad Palmer. How you doing, Chad? Hi to Joseph Crow and Ethic Boxing and Dan Simmons, and there's so many things scrolling up there now anyway. So there you go. Somebody said to me, why didn't you do one of these yesterday? I'm going to try and do one most days. There will be days when I don't do one. Hi to Richard Kinzet. How you doing, Richard? There will be days when I don't do one of these little videos, but I'll try and do them each show day, Sunday being the exception, where I'll try and let you know who's coming up. Anyway, Paul Craig Roberts, former U.S. Assistant Secretary of the Treasury, and a good friend of mine, and somebody I love, and I love reading him. Paul Craig Roberts joins me in the first hour of the program. I'm looking forward to that. And let me tell you then who's coming up on the second hour. And I want to get this absolutely right. I don't want to make a mess of this. I'm going to be joined in the second hour of the program by a man called Jim Lee. Now, you don't want to miss Jim. And he's got a website called climateviewer.org. And he's also very much involved in weathermodificationhistory.com. And Jim has very kindly agreed to come on the program today to talk about the history of engineering the weather, the history of going way back 100 years, 150 years, when it began, when people tried to moderate the weather, modify the weather, accelerate existing weather patterns, and weaponize the weather. So Jim joins the program in the second hour. It's a pretty packed old show again today. And the 51 Project says, will you play that piano? No, because I don't play it. I play a few chords on the guitar, but I don't play the piano. The piano and the clarinet there is played by the unbelievably talented Caroline, the future, oft-mentioned future Mrs. Allen. She's a brilliant musician. She plays clarinet, saxophone, and plays a mean piano. Makes you sick. Overachiever, I say. So anyway, hi to Glenn Samuel there. Hi to Augie Doggy and Mimi. They love Dr. Paul Craig Roberts. Good stuff. Right, short and sweet then. Have a look at that video on Facebook. Suzanne. Now, Suzanne is spelled S-U-S. That's Sierra, Umbrella, Sierra. And then A-N-N-E, Hall, H-A-L-L. Let me double check that there. And she's put this video on claiming that she's currently being held at a hospital in Surrey because she presented evidence to her GP, complained about 5G, said that she was ill and that this technology was making her ill, and she believes that her doctor has tried to successfully have her committed for that. So startling stuff. Ian McKee let me know that a little bit earlier on. S-U-S-A-N-N-E, Suzanne Small, S-M-A-L-L. And it's in the group Geoengineering, Weather Warfare, Chemtrails, 5G Technocracy, and so on. I'm sure somebody will put it up on YouTube before too long. Right. I'll see you at 5 then. The live show is on richieallen.co.uk. It streams live there all the time. 5 p.m. UK time. That's midday Eastern time in the US. It is 9 a.m. Pacific time. And it's 1 hour later in Europe, so it's 6 p.m. Central European time. I'll speak to you a little bit later on, right? Thanks for joining in with this live stream. I'm going to end it now, and I'll speak to you at 5 on the radio show. Bye for now. Bye now.